Hey guys, Panzer J back here in operation from Russia with Love. We're up to turn 13, so it's 13.4 for Japan, July of 1942. So we're going to get right into our tech rolls. So Japan did finish off improved construction last turn. So we're going to try for improved factories, and that's at stage 3, a 7 or higher, and then long-range aircraft, which is at stage 1, and that's an 8 or higher. So first, improved factories, and an 8, so we succeed there. And long-range aircraft, 8 or higher. 3 misses. So again, 1 for 2. So we do finish off improved factories. I think other than turn 1, when I only had 1 tech roll, I think the other 12 turns in this game, I've literally been 1 for 2, 50% every turn. Okay, so we had a couple of buys laid out because I wasn't sure if I was going to hit improved factories or not. So we have 66 IPP to spend because I had 71 last turn. I think there was a little bit of confusion in some of the comments, and I think 71 should be accurate. I was at 54 on the IPP chart. 6 $1 Chinese territories is 60. I had 4 $2 territories. Borneo, Java, the Philippines, and Malaya. So that's 68. And then 3 more $1 island territories. Wake, Guam, I believe, and the Solomon Islands. So it should have been 71. So then Global War 36 enthusiast, that French sub, took 5 IPP off of me. So that leaves me 66. So we were going to buy a medium bomber for 11, an infantry for 3, that's 14, 2 artillery for 8, that's 22, a minor factory for 8, that's 30. Since we have improved construction, we're going to do a fortification in 1 turn for 10, that's 40. Then down here, we're going to do 3 more artillery for 12, that's 52. Another infantry for 3, that's 55. What else? We're going to do 2 militia upgrades for 4. That's 59. And then 3 militia for 6. So that should be our full... Oh, that's 65, right? So that should leave us a buck. Let's go over that again. It was kind of confusing. Okay, so we've got 66 to spend. 11 for the medium bomber. 3 for the infantry is 14. 2 artillery is 8. That's 22. A minor factory for 8. That's 30. A fortification for 10. That's 40. 3 more artillery for 12. That's 52. An infantry for 3 is 55. 2 militia upgrades for 4 is 59. And 3 for militia for 6, 65. So we should have $1 left over. Okay, so for combat, we have 5 combats. So a couple of them are walk-ons. So up here, we are going to take this heavy cruiser and destroyer out of port. And the destroyer is going to pick up the Marine. And those 2 ships are going to come up 1, 2, 3 to a 2 in Kiski and drop that Marine off on that Alaskan island. Battle number 2 is another walk-on here in the Aleutian Islands. So this destroyer here in Midway is going to pick up that Marine and go 1, 2, 3 and drop him in the Aleutian Islands. Okay. Battle number 3 is here in Hawaii. So Bruce has an infantry, a militia, and an AA gun. So we're going to bring these 2 coastal subs. I guess it's non-combat, but they're going to go over. They're not engaged in the combat, but they're coming over with everything else. So everything here in P-47, which consists of 4 regular battleships, 2 heavy battleships, a battle cruiser, 2 heavy cruisers, 4 fleet submarines, a torpedo boat destroyer, 2 light carriers with a fighter and a tactical, and a fleet carrier with 2 fighters. They are all going to come up 1, 2. Also, there is a naval transport in that group, and that's going to take the 2 Marines here off of the Marshalls, and we're going to go into Midway. So the 2 Marines will be offloaded. I'm going to shore bombard with my 2 heavy battleships at a 5 each, and then I've got the 3 fighters and the 1 tactical going in. Okay, so that's battle number 3. Excuse me. Number 4 is down here in West Timor. So this is another walk-on. So the destroyer here in P60 is going to pick up 1 of the Marines in Borneo and just stay in the same sea zone there and drop him off in West Timor. So that's a buck up for Japan, $1 down for UK. Battle number 5. And I think there's actually 7 battles. I again forgot to mark one of these. Okay, so battle number 5 is going to be here in Sea Zone P50. Okay, so Peter's got a coastal sub there. I'm going to put a couple of planes on map and also pair with a destroyer. So this seaplane here in the Philippines is going to fly 1 for map against that coastal sub. Also, this fighter here in British Malaya is going to come over 1 for map. And then this destroyer down here in P61 is going to come up 1, 2 to pair up there with the fighter, with the plane, and go ahead and engage that coastal sub. Battle number 6 is here in Shensi. So Bruce used the KMT to use 2 cavalry and take Shensi from me. So I'm going to come down into Shensi with this infantry from Suyan. 2 of the cavalry from Rihe are going to go 1, 2. And then the fighter from Rihe is going to go 1, 2. And we're going to go into Shensi. And then finally, the 7th and final battle, which I forgot to mark, is here in I-12. Global War 36 enthusiast had moved the transport that he got from Java over here, but he wasn't at a major port, so it could only move 2. So he moved it to I-12. So we're just going to bring this torpedo boat destroyer down and kill off that defenseless transport. And those are going to be our 7 battles. So starting over here, a 2 in Kiski was a walk-on, not worth anything. The Aleutian Islands was a walk-on, not worth anything. Okay, so our first one for rolling here is going to be in Midway. So let's see. Let's go grab a dice tray, some dice. Okay, so we do have 2 shore bombards with our heavy battleships. So this is 2 rolls at a 5. And a 1 and a 9, so we get 1 hit. So Bruce is definitely going to take the militia. He doesn't want to lose the AA and not get a chance to fire at my planes. Okay, so he's down to the AA gun and the infantry. So we've got 3 fighters. Now, all the 2 carriers, or the 3 carriers, went 1, 2. The 3rd movement for the planes are into Hawaii, and the 4th will be back on the carriers. Okay, so we've got 3 fighters at 6s. And we got a 4, 5, and a 6. So there's enough right there. Okay, so now the moment of truth. He gets 3 rolls at a 3 with his AA gun. 3, 5, and a 7. So he did get 1 hit. I guess we'll lose a fighter. Okay, and now his infantry at a 4 and an 8 misses. So Hawaii falls to those 2 Marines. I didn't even roll for them, but I had gotten the hits with the plane, so that's fine. Okay, so that's worth 2. And let's take off our 1 fighter on one of our light carriers there as a casualty. Okay, battle number 4 was another walk-on here in West Timor. So that's 3 that were up. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust that real quick just so I don't forget. So Japan went up a total of 3 so far to 54. And we took 2 off of the U.S., so 61 to 59, and 1 off of the U.K., 19 to 18. Okay, so our next battle is going to be in C-Zone P50. So we've got a fighter on map, a seaplane on map, and a paired destroyer against his coastal sub. So first, the fighter at a 6, and a 3 does hit, so we sink the sub. So the sub gets to fire back just at the destroyer, and a 9 misses. So we take out that coastal sub. Battle number 6 is in Shensi. So we are going into mountains. So the 2 cavalry will be 2s. The infantry will be a 1. The fighter stays a 6. And Bruce's 2 cavalry are 2s. So let's go ahead with our fighter first at a 6. Well, missed that. A 1 does hit. Then we got 2 cavalry at 2s. A 1 and a 12, so we got our 2 hits. Okay, so his 2 cavalry in return at 2s. And sorry, Bruce, an 11 and 12. They should have been militia, Bruce. You would have probably got 2 hits. Okay, so we take Shensi back. We don't suffer any casualties. So that's our last territory gain. So let's go ahead and mark that up real quick. Another 2 for Japan. They're up to 56. And 2 down for the KMT from 3 to 1. Okay, and then the last battle was just an auto kill. We moved that torpedo boat destroyer down to I-12 and killed off that British transport. Okay, so that should be it for combat. So on to non-combat. Okay. We've got these 3 transports here in I-13. So they're going to come up 1, 2 into P50 along with both of these heavy cruisers. And on the way, these 3 transports are going to pick up the Marine in Sumatra, the artillery on Java, and the Marine on Borneo, and drop them off in British Malaya. And then the 3 transports and the 2 heavy cruisers are going to go in port here in P50. The fighter that went on map flies back to British Malaya. The seaplane goes back to the Philippines. We've got 2 naval transports here in P50 in port in the Philippines. They are going to come out of port. We're going to pick up the Marine on the Philippines, come up here to P41, and pick up 2 infantry. There's 3 spots left on those 2 transports. They're going to pick up 2 infantry and an artillery from Kwang Tung, and then come back 1 to P50, drop those units off in British Malaya, and then those 2 transports are going to go into port there as well. We've got 2 light cruisers down here in P61. They're going to come up 1, 2, 3 to I-11. We got to land our plane from Shensi. So that plane went 2. So it's going to go 3, 4 back to Rihe. We've got this fighter in Tokyo. What do we want to do with that? I think we're going to take that fighter and go, it's coming from an air base, so it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and land on Midway. And I think that is it for non-combat. So on to unit placement. Okay, so we did hit improve factories. So now our minor factories can produce 2 units per turn. So starting down here in New South Wales, we're going to put a medium bomber and an artillery down in our medium or our minor factory there. We also had 2 militia upgrades, and one of them is down here in New South Wales. So take off that militia, make that an infantry. Then for our minor factory in British Malaya, we're going to put down our 2 units are going to be 2 infantry. Also our fortification, that's where our fortification is going to go. So that's going to go on the border with Siam, so we can protect ourselves against that FEC force coming down. In Kwang Tung, in our minor factory, we're going to place 2 artillery. In our minor factory in Rihe, we're going to place 2 artillery. So I think our minor factory is going in Nanking. Our second and final militia upgrade is in Nanking. So take off that militia and put down an infantry. And I believe all we have left is 3 militia. So 1 militia is going to go in British Malaya. 1 is going to go on Midway. And 1 is going to go in Tokyo. And I believe that's it. Actually, if you let me have one last non-combat, one of these 3 infantry in Kyushu is going to rail to Tokyo. And I believe that is it for non-combat. So since we took a 2 in Kiska, let's look over here real quick. I believe that finishes off one of our objectives. So over here, Pacific Buffer Zone, possess Wake, Midway, a 2 in Kiska, and Guam. So we have all of those islands. So because of that, we can put 1 fortification or coastal artillery on one of the islands. So I already anticipated this. So we're going to take a fortification and we're going to place that on Midway. Okay, so I believe that is it for unit placement. So on to collect income. So Japan is now sitting at 56 IPP. We saved 1, so that's 57. Okay, so then let's look over here real quick and see about our additional territories. Okay, so we have Borneo, Java, British Malaya, Hawaii, and the Philippines. So those are $2 a piece. So that's 10. We have Midway, Wake, and Solomons. They're $1 a piece. That's up to 13. And we have Hopei, Shantung, Hunan, Kwang Tung. That's Peking, and Nanking. So that's another 6. So that's 19, right? 10, 3, 13, 19. So that should be 19 extra wartime bonus. Plus the one we saved, that's 20. And we're sitting at 56. So by my calculations, hopefully they're correct, Japan should have 76 to spend next turn. So let's do a unit recap real quick. Down here off of Sydney in P-72, we have 2 destroyers and a torpedo boat destroyer. In New South Wales, we have 7 Marines, 1 infantry, 2 tacticals, 2 artillery, a medium bomber. There's a Marine on West Timor, an infantry in Celebes, an infantry in Dutch New Guinea, a seaplane on the Philippines. In C-Zone P-50 in port, we have 5 naval transports and 2 heavy cruisers. There's a destroyer in P-50 that's not in port. There's 2 light cruisers in I-11. There's a torpedo boat destroyer in I-12. In British Malaya, we now have a fortification on the border with Siam. And we have a total of 1 fighter, 2 artillery, 5 infantry, 3 Marines, and 1 militia. Militia each in Anatonkin and Cochin China, an infantry in Hong Kong, a militia on Formosa. Kwangtung has 2 mountain infantry, a militia, 10 infantry, and 2 artillery. There's 2 infantry in Nanking, a militia in Hunan, Shantung, Hopei, Peking. Shensi has 2 cavalry and an infantry. Militia each in Korea, eastern, western, and northern Manchuria. Rihe has a militia, a cavalry, a fighter, 2 motorized, 2 artillery. Kyushu has 2 infantry. Tokyo has an infantry and a militia. On Midway, we have a militia, a fighter, and a fortification. There's a Marine on a 2, a Marine on the Aleutian Islands, a destroyer in P5, a destroyer and a heavy cruiser in P4. On Hawaii, we have 2 Marines, and in that sea zone, we have 2 coastal subs, a torpedo boat destroyer, a naval transport, a light carrier with no planes, a light carrier with a tactical, a fleet carrier with 2 fighters, 2 heavy cruisers, a battle cruiser, 2 heavy battleships, 4 regular battleships, 4 fleet submarines. So that should be it. That should cover a unit recap. Tune in to Global War 36 Enthusiast channel to watch the UK-France.